Hey there, welcome to another episode of Galaxy Gardens. My name is Chrissy and today we are going to be making some cheese. It is raining outside. I'm not really going to spend any time out there, so I thought I'd give you a shorter video today, as well as sprinkle in some images from a recent trip to the local woods and probably a new spot that we're going to explore some more. So let's go check it out, and hopefully when you get some milk on sale, you can make some of this cheese too. Yo, GGTV Cribs. Girls got a new roost. Move that. Still got a swing that they use when they think I don't see them. We got a new food setup. Yeah. Y'all like it? Gotta get you some oyster shells. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. This roost, I think the bars, yeah, it's windy out. They're a little skinnier than I want them to be, but it's not for them to sleep on. It's just to hang out during the day if they want it, so it's good enough for now. Oh, who we got? Hi. So, that'll be a nice change for the ladies. Hi, Marshmallow. Hi, hairdo. Hi, honey. Ignore my hair. But do you see this tarp up here? So we're probably gonna leave this one on during the summer. And then the original one that actually came with this chicken run kit will probably take off. So I'll spin the camera around, but this whole area will be sunny. I zoomed out. So this whole area, like I was saying, this will all be sunny. And then this goes probably 6 inches or so past this, but all of our storms come from that general direction. So they'll get shade in the summer and also more sunlight. Right, Meatball? Yep. This isn't product placement. This is just the cheapest milk I could find. So I got some whole milk, which I actually had to dip into. So we're gonna add some of this 1%. Yes, you can make cheese from 1%. You can see our mayo and our salt cured lemons are hanging out. Some strawberries from last year up there. So let's go ahead and take this, and then we're gonna get some vinegar. As you can see here, we're a little behind on water glassing our eggs. So I'm gonna see how much of these I can pawn off on family and coworkers. But we're gonna get to it. I'm usually pretty good about water glassing them, but we still have some more jars from actually last year we need to get through. But the girls are laying, we're getting roughly between 5 and 8 a day now. So it's quite a bit. Moving over here, we have apple cider vinegar. I prefer to use lemon juice, just personally, but you can use apple cider vinegar, you can use white vinegar, you can use lemon juice for what we're doing. And ideally, you do want to use whole milk, just because it has more fats in it, and that's what you want for the cheese. And I'm sure someone's gonna watch this and be like, no, Chrissy, that's not the chemical process there. But there's just not as much to work with the 1%, but it's a good fill-in. And you can make a nice ricotta with 1 or 2% milk too. So we're gonna put the milk in our pot here, and we're gonna bring it up to temperature. Times are tough. Food is expensive, so If you can get some milk on sale to do this with and get some cheese, absolutely do it. So for this recipe, we're using a 1/2 gallon of milk. Since my whole milk was a little low, I'm just gonna supplement that. I'm just gonna eyeball about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of 1%. And then we're gonna bring it up to 190 Fahrenheit. Once we get to that point, we're gonna cut the heat and add in our vinegar. So let me turn this on. For the first few minutes, you don't really have to worry about it. Once it starts getting warmer, you wanna stir it just so the milk doesn't burn on the bottom. There we go. All right, we'll be back in a minute. This is arguably the easiest cheese you can make. Now, if you wanted to make a hard cheese or soft cheese, think like brie, you have to get some more supplies. You have to get rennet, you have to get some like bacterium inoculator, and that can add up. This you can just make on a weeknight and use it. While we're waiting for this, I just wanted to show you. We got some new magnets for the fridge, so now our nice counters, you can see them. You can see back here, the installers just kind of ripped everything out, but we're gonna get it painted soon. And I'll finally have a nice kitchen in here. This is gonna take roughly, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. I'll verify that once we get to temperature. But from the process from there, it's pretty easy. I'm not gonna keep our plant folks waiting, so let's check out how our garden's getting going. Here we have our potatoes. Baltic Rose, Adirondack Red. I think these two, in my opinion, best tasting potato that you can get that is also good for multiple uses. And I'm talking in mashed potatoes, frying, what have you, boiled potatoes. On average, they get around to this size, maybe this size. I actually prefer the smaller ones. But over here you can see these are the Baltic Roses that we saved. They're a little behind on chitting. Hi, boo-boo. Chitting is where the eyes are growing. We're gonna let them get a little bit longer than they are. But these ones are behind because they were in the garage and it was a little cooler out there. So we got these about a week and a half ago, and ordinarily, to speed the process along, I would put them in cardboard boxes that are loosely shut so light can still get through, and actually put them next to a heater over there, because if you get some indirect light plus some warmth, the eyes grow a little bit faster. So we're just gonna let them do their thing. I'm not really in a rush to get them in the ground. I can plant them anytime, probably in the next few weeks, and we'll probably harvest them in August. So I got no rush there. We have plenty of potatoes too. So I might put them in the ground this weekend, maybe next week, maybe mid next week. We'll see. And they'll be good to go. I can definitely plant them like they are now. They'll just take a little longer to come up from under the straw. Yeah, they look good. So this is about 25 pounds, roughly. I might have that wrong. What is this, 10 pounds? Yeah, 25 pounds between this. And if previous years serve me correct, we'll probably get over 100 pounds back. I'll tell you, it's gonna be a lot brighter in here when we paint. Over here, all of our stuff is growing in, and for some of these, they're about ready for us to move our grow lights up to the next level. Boo-boo. Yeah, I know. She just wants to be part of everything. That's fine. So down here, that's all our flowers and herbs. I forgot to get some parsley going, so I gotta do that. This is all greens. Let's see if we can get under here. Yeah, look at those. My Swiss chard's doing great. Peppers, huckleberries, and ground cherries, I believe. These are tomatoes. Plus some orders. I've been selling some starts. I have so many seeds, so I just figured I'd get starts going for people in the area. But also sending me seeds, I can get your starts going too. Up here I have some more greens. What is this? Cabbage. I'm not doing onions, but I gotta cut these leeks back. And then some more peppers. What is this? That's basil. Yeah, so everything's doing pretty good. I'm very happy with it. We typically, last couple years, we try to spread out everything. So these are all things that are gonna get planted at different times. So like the greens and the flowers, we could probably put out in the next few weeks. Tomatoes and peppers, we're gonna wait till at least Mother's Day. If not, beginning of June, depends what the weather does. We'll go from there. Here's Scout. She needs to get a haircut soon. She's getting one next weekend. Figured she could come say hello. She hasn't been in one of our videos lately. What are you doing? You ready for dinner? Yeah. If you can see here, the bubbles starting to come up on the milk. That means the temperature's starting to approach where you want it to be. You want to keep an eye on this so the bottom doesn't burn, because as you know, milk burns easily. So we're just gonna keep an eye on it, keep stirring it. I'll check the temperature, and then once we get to 190, we'll come back. All right, you can see we're a little bit over, so we're gonna cut the heat and add the vinegar. And I checked the time, this took 10 minutes. So I cut the heat, we're not burned. I have a 1/4 cup of vinegar, and we're just gonna briefly mix it in. You might see curds starting to form. All right, you see that? All right, you don't need to stir it anymore. Now what you're gonna do is just leave it for about 15 minutes. If you don't have the types of curds you want, you could leave it a little bit longer. Different recipes call for different wait times, different temperatures, different amounts of an acidic addition. So I'm gonna put a cover on this, we're gonna leave it. While you're waiting for your curds to set, you're gonna get a couple things. So I have a container, I have a strainer, and we're gonna get a cheesecloth. We don't have really a supply of cheesecloth in the house, so every time I make this, I use a clean tea towel. Works just as well. It's been 15 minutes, so we're gonna check on this and see how our curd has developed. You can see it's collected. Awesome. I think there's still a little bit small. I'm gonna let it go for just a couple more minutes, and then we're gonna strain it out. We're ready for the next step. So our curds are where I want them to be. All right, so you have a couple options here. You can take these out with a slotted spoon, or you can do what I do, which is easier. A little more. We're just gonna take this, we're gonna dump it a little bit at a time. Lovely. And there's some left in the pot, so we're gonna take those out. So what we have here, and I'll zoom in just a second, is a pretty basic cheese. I'm doing the best I can here with the lighting. I don't have a ring light. So you can see it's already settling. Underneath here, which is kind of hard see if I can do this. You can see the steam. That's all the whey that's gonna be collecting. And you can use that in your cooking. You can add it to bread. You can cook your pasta in it, make some sauces. When it cools down, you can pour it into your plants. You can feed it to some of your animals. So this is pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna take our cloth here and bunch everything up. You want this to cool down a little bit before you do this, but I've done this a few times. And the spoon helps too. You can hear it draining out. What I like to do is just spin and use the spoon as like an anchor point to help get all the liquid out. And you can leave this with a little bit more liquid, have a nice ricotta. I've seen people put this in the blender and have, they call it like a cream cheese. You can also hang it. And I'm gonna have to get another bowl to finish this. Or press it, and then you'll actually have like a firm cheese you can cut up. So let me get a new bowl. We'll be right back. You can see all that awesome whey that came out. If you were to drink this, it's kind of sweet tasting. It's not for everybody. So just put this back on our pot. So I'm gonna finish pressing this out, and then I'm gonna call it a day. I'm actually not gonna make it into a firm one, like a block. So something you can do at this point, once you get most of the liquid out, let's just pull it open here. You could also run this while it's in the cheesecloth under cold water to cool it down faster. So you can try it at this point. But it's also the time you're gonna add some salt. Less is more in this case. I'm gonna go get some. I'm just gonna put a little kosher salt in this. I think it's recommended maybe like a teaspoon. And although you added salt, you'll see a lot of recipes that encourage you like, oh, add your salt and taste it. Add some more if you want to. Don't do that. You're gonna want to let this, if you're gonna do, where you're gonna press it into like a ball or a block, just add a little bit of salt, not too much. Let it sit in the fridge for at least a day and then try it. If you want to add more salt when you cut it up, by all means. Or if you leave it like this, where we can put this under some cold water and then just fluff it up again. You can leave it like this, but you want to just let it sit. That's perfect. And when you make this kind of cheese, it's going to be sweeter, especially if you use like raw milk. If you have a place to get that around you, it's going to be very sweet. So we're going to wrap this up again now that I got my salt in there. And it's cooled down quite a bit now. You can see, I apologize, it's not focus. There's still a lot of liquid in there. So I can take this, run it under cold water, cool it down, and then put it in a press. And within an hour or so, it's gonna keep its shape. But I'm just gonna do everything I can to squeeze this out. And I'm just gonna run under some water, but it's okay with me if this doesn't keep its shape. I'm just gonna use it to sprinkle on stuff. And then down here, you can see how much more whey came out. Well, that's pretty much it. All right, there you got it. Less than an hour. You can have some cheese It does melt. It was good. You need some ricotta. Make some ricotta pie. You make some lasagna. 30 minutes. I'm taking a video, so 45. Really tasty though. Big fan. Anything that's gonna help, number one, save us some money, because life is expensive right now. Number two, something easy that you can do. So, I mean, I was even looking at cheese prices lately. It's not too bad. It's not like beef prices, but I'm happy with this. Now, if I wanted to go full into like fancy cheese making, I would get the supplies. I was looking at how I can make like a camembert. Camembert? I don't know if you say the T or not. All the supplies I would need would be like $70. I'm like, I'm not even gonna eat $70 worth of that. So I'm gonna make this. And there's so much you can do with it. You can definitely add spices to it, other kinds of seasonings. If you do end up pressing it into a block, just putting something like heavy on it. If you're someone who eats like firm tofu, you know, you have to press the water out, same deal. You just want to keep in the cheesecloth when you do that. It's pretty nice to cut up and use on different stuff. Now you can't necessarily make like a grilled cheese with it, but you're gonna use it anyway. You use ricotta. I think this recipe is the same recipe that you can use to make paneer. I think the type of acidic addition might be a little bit different. I'll double check that. I'll put it in the description below to check that out. But yeah, another easy thing you can do on a weeknight. We've had some new folks come and join the channel recently, and I just wanted to say thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking out what we do. My partner Greg and I, we enjoy sharing free education where we can. If you do appreciate any tips that you learn, we have some links in the description you can check out if you want to support what we do. We both have full-time jobs, so we're making some house improvements slowly. The counters were a huge upgrade. That was something that we've been wanting to do for years. But I'm glad I finally had a chance to make this cheese. I got that milk, oh God, over a week ago. And it was pretty close to going bad. But it hung in there. So what I'm gonna do with it tonight is actually just put on some rice. I like taking some rice and cracking our eggs in it with some dried seaweed and add a little bit of the cheese. That'll be good. It's also good on, what's it called? Like bruschetta? No, not traditionally with cheese, but I like it. If you try this out, send me some pictures. We're on Instagram at The Galaxy Gardens. I love seeing everyone's gardens and creations. I follow a lot of other content creators on there as well. But we're gearing up for this planting season. We just got a new tree. You can check that out on Instagram as well. It's a Royal Gala. It's actually the same size as our other trees. Although it's raining today, and some of my previous clips were from the other day where it wasn't raining. I was checking out our peach trees when I went to collect our eggs this afternoon. And all our peaches are like maybe a couple days away from the flowers opening. And knock on wood, we don't get an unexpected frost that kills all of them again. That's what happened last year. Last year we had warm weather. All the trees flowered, and yeah, we had a late frost. And I thought they would be okay because peaches, at the different stage of like flower bud development, they can handle different like cold tolerances. But unfortunately it was bad. Actually, all of New England had a bad peach year last year, which was sad. We have a lot of good local farms that make peach-based goods, so I'm hoping this year's better, and obviously I want peaches too. I told myself I was gonna get some big covers you can put over the tree. They actually make them specific for smaller fruit trees, where it's like kind of like shade cloth or plastic on 4 poles, and you just kind of set it up all around the tree. I was just gonna take some shade cloth and just throw it over, and then all the internal flower buds would be okay, but the ones touching it, if it got too cold, you know, there's a chance that they might die. So we'll see what happens. I didn't do any covering this year. We've been pretty good. We had a cold snap last week, but the buds were much smaller. And it's pretty much the less developed they are, the more cold they can tolerate. When they get around now where they're about to open, the weather needs to be a little bit warmer. Not worried about it. Yeah, our trees are loaded with buds. I didn't do any pruning, and we're gonna see what happens. One of our pear trees, I need to make a new leader. I don't remember which one. I wanna say it's the green anjou, but don't quote me on that. I gotta check my list. But all that to say, I'm gonna stop going on a rant now. The garden is getting started. All of our stuff looks good. I need to get some fans for my little greenhouse. Because it's very fragile balance between them growing well now and being too fragile, like actually too fragile. So if you're growing in a greenhouse like I have, make sure you're going in there and shaking them. We want strong stems. We want good airflow. It helps minimize chances of fruit flies. We don't have fruit flies. I finally got good soil this year. Last year I was desperate and there was a shortage. Look up the soil drama from last year. The soil I got sucked, and I found the soil that I like. Again, not a sponsored ad, but I like using Roots Organic 707 blend. I think that's solid for pretty much everything. But I did also try this year Sungrow Horticulture's, I think it's like seed and starting mix, which is more fluffy. And I wanted to hate it because I have thoughts about that company. But hey, it's been working out pretty good, and apparently it's an organic mix, so I'll take it. And everything's growing well, so I'm thrilled. I expect at least for the next month, they'll still have some good nutrients flowing to them. And we have our nice trays so we can do bottom watering. I only do top watering once, and I feel very firm about this because I've definitely lost so many plants over the years to damping off, which I believe is a viral issue. I only top water right when I put the seeds in, and then if they're too small or like they didn't dry out enough but they need some water on the top while they're just sprouting, I'll take actually a little mister and I'll mist the top of it, but I won't water it. And then once they start getting their roots going and they're established, I only do bottom watering because we want to draw those roots down and we want to have a nice healthy root system so when you transplant them, there's less chance of transplant shock, and they just already have, you know, a better chance of settling in. So I'm gonna stop talking now. I'm gonna go make my dinner, and next time I'm gonna hope we'll be outside. Depends if the weather cooperates. I'm glad it rained because I planted some lettuce outside. If you're in Massachusetts, you can still direct sow a bunch of greens right now. This is the perfect time. They'll come up when it's warm enough for them. And in April, typically, we get a lot of rain, and that's what they need in those early growth stages. I'll see you next time, and if you want to see any more updates, go ahead, follow us on Instagram. Check out our other links down in the description. Bye.